Hey guys, Sean here. So we're about to do the champion stage pick'em. I actually managed to pass through the legend stage. It happened on the last day. If you guys copied my picks, you know that FaZe and Ents. I was kind of riding on one of the two going through. It turns out both went through to the champion stage, so ended up getting 6 out of the 9 correct. Wish I could have done a little bit better. Obviously, I had 2 picks in there, Big and Energy, that went at 0 and 3. That's a big lull. And then also, obviously, complexity shocked me, which is awesome because huge fan of complexity as a team. Really proud of what Jordan and the team was able to put together. So anyway, let's hop straight into the champion stage. The first line of matchup is actually insane. I think this is the most competitive champion stage bracket we've had in Major history, and I'm actually going to go through this. My notes have it like as the order that you're going to see them as a spectator. So the first match is going to be Navi versus FaZe. Jesus Christ, this match is actually so insane. In a lot of ways, Nico is performing at a top level. Simple's performing at a top level. We actually had Flamey come up big tons of times throughout this event so far, which is something that's honestly kind of new for Navi. If I'm being honest, it's usually the Electronic and Simple show whenever you watch them, and now that they have Flamey, it's like a new dimension to their game. They've switched around a couple spots. We've seen Zeus play a little bit of B on Inferno. I mean, they've always been willing to play Inferno, even though I don't know how good they are. They're very good at bleeding the clock low and grinding out a certain number of rounds on each half. So, but FaZe on the other hand, so they've actually had Navi's number in like the recent times. So this is actually a really tricky game. I think the veto should go. I kind of wrote down the vetoes for all the games just to get a feel for it. So I think Navi could punish pick with Nuke because FaZe is likely going to ban Overpass based on what we've seen so far, although they could ban Nuke. If they ban Nuke, though, Navi's just going to pick Overpass, and I think they'd win Overpass quite convincingly. FaZe has floated this Nuke ban quite a few times. It was actually the third map in several of their series recently, even dating back to E-League. So I think Navi could punish pick Nuke here, and we would really have to see what FaZe has to offer on Nuke. If I were in Navi's shoes, that's what I would do. Now, this version of Navi isn't as good as previous ones, so I don't know how that's going to go for them. They could just safely pick Train or Mirage, but that's, in my opinion, those are FaZe's best maps right now. So if they pick those maps, it's kind of a fail because they could always get those as the third map, right? Because you expect FaZe here to pick Train or Mirage in this series. I guess they could technically pick Dust 2 if they wanted to punish Navi in reverse. But regardless, the third map is going to be Train or Mirage. So given that's going to be what this series looks like, I think based on what we've seen so far, I heavily want to pick FaZe here, but I will not. I'm going to pick Navi to advance through just based on what we've seen so far, right? Like, yes, I think FaZe had a great series against Cloud9 to get here, but that was the first time we've really seen FaZe put together, a good game. I know Yanko has done a lot of work into this team as far as how they look strategically. And it's visible when you watch their T-side Dust 2, and even how he called that timeout on Cash for the last round to get the that T-side round against Cloud9. So that was a really cool call by him. But I don't know, man. I think Navi's too strong of a beast to knock out here. So that brings me to the next series. So it looks like we're actually working our way bottom up. So Liquid Ents is the next match, and this is actually the first time meeting up. So this will be a cool series. And this is actually an excellent test for Liquid. And the reason why I say that is because throughout this entire bracket, if you have Liquid, making it to the finals, they're going to keep playing the same type of team. And each team is going to get better and better and better. And Ents is the first stepping stone on this trip where Ents plays both Train and Nuke very well. And historically, these have been maps, that Liquid has struggled on. Not so much Nuke, actually, but Stewie has yet to play a match on Nuke in quite a long time. So I don't know how well, this iteration of Liquid is going to perform a Nuke. We don't know that yet. In their vetoes, they've been floating this Nuke ban. I would expect Ents to test Liquid's Nuke. And if you have Liquid going to the finals, I think this is going to happen a few times in this bracket stage on Liquid. It's something that you definitely have to be worried about if you're a Team Liquid fan. And now, I think Liquid is going to step up to the plate. I think, they're on Nuke previously, they only struggled really against Astralis. They were one of the best teams in the world on Nuke. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's definitely a weakness in their game. Now, Liquid will likely end up picking, Dust 2 or Inferno, and I heavily have them favored on that. So I think Liquid should take it in 2, even if Ents picks Nuke, if I'm being honest. But I could see them slip up, and we could go to, like a Mirage or Overpass third map. And that would definitely shake Liquid's confidence in future series. So I'm hoping Liquid goes 2-0 in this first series. I'm going to take them to advance here. Ents is a very young team. I mean, Liquid's a very young team as well, but they've been here before. I think they'll perform better with the crowd. I think the crowd is going to play a factor in a couple of these series. I don't think it'll play a factor in Navi versus FaZe. I mean, all of those players have been in front of massive crowds so many times. But Ents has been in front of crowds a couple times, but I don't think it's anything like Katowice. This crowd is insane. So if it's anything like it's been in the past. So next series, MIBR versus Renegades. I'm really looking forward to this series. Renegades has shocked me time and time again. I have yet to have them in my pick'ems once. So clearly they are a team that I am overlooking quite frequently at this point. The series is ban-wise is likely going to go like this. MIBR is going to ban Nuke. Renegade's going to ban Overpass. So this is like where I'm conflicted because MIBR has no good place to go at this map veto, right? Like you'd think the one place they could potentially punish Renegades on, from what I've seen, is Dust 2. Now Renegades did look quite good on Dust 2, if I'm being honest, the one time we've seen them play it. But yikes, man, like that's really the only spot I can see a weakness for MIBR to attack. I don't like what I've seen out of MIBR's Inferno. For the most part, it's a lot of Cold carrying. Cold is putting up some ridiculous stats this event so far. It's literally like vintage Cold Zero, old school MIBR, like back in full effect. It's so wild that this team managed to just put together their old team and pick up right where they left off. Renegades will probably end up picking like Mirage or Inferno, which also like kind of plays into MIBR. So I don't know, man. Third map could be something like Train. This is a series where I think the crowd will play a factor. It's so much different. I can't explain to you, like as a player playing in front of a crowd like this, the feeling that you get. Like the tables are almost shaky when the crowd chants, and you can feel your arms get like a little bit heavier. So I think Renegades still has to prove to me that they can step up on this type of stage. And because of that, that's the only reason why I'm going for MIBR here. Do I think Renegades have looked better? Yes, I have. This is like a very illogical pick that I'm doing here, solely based on like, my preconceived notions about these teams, right? I will be the first to admit I don't really have a lot of logic going beyond this one. So I'm going to pick MIBR there. I think, yet again, Renegades has looked like the better team so far. But with that being said, they only won 2 T-side gun rounds in regulation against the Astralis. Think about that. In an entire best of 3, where they played all 3 maps, they won 2 T gun rounds. I'm not including that overtime on Mirage, but they won 1 T gun round on Mirage, and I think they won 1 on Inferno. Now, that's like abysmal. I mean, we're talking entire halves that got played. They didn't get to play all of their T-side nuke, but they got 10-0'd by Astralis on their T-side nuke. So they're going to have to bring something better on T-side. I will admit their T-sides have looked strong, but that's solely because they've been aided by phenomenal starts, whether it be pistol round or second round buys. I think with the pressure of the crowd, those rounds are harder to come by. So anyway, going with MIBR there. Last match of quarters, we have Astralis versus NIP. And this is like that historic series, right? Where NIP somehow manages to put up good fights against Astralis time and time again. Don't really understand why. Because when you look at these teams on paper, you'd think Astralis' utility usage would just bog them down time and time again. But there's some kind of like thing in Astralis' head whenever they play against NIP that the matches get close. Obviously, Astralis is going to ban Cash against NIP. And if you look at NIP's ban in the past, they always ban Dust 2. So Nuke will be open to Astralis, and obviously they've had a field day on that map against NIP, so they'll probably pick Nuke as their map. Now, I don't even know if Nuke is the best pick if you're Astralis against NIP. Honestly, I think they could pick Inferno and just absolutely dump on NIP because, I mean, I would hate to play Astralis on Inferno. Based on what I see when you play them, you feel like there's no good decisions. They're incredible on Inferno. Um, and that's not to say like they're not incredible on Nuke. Obviously, they have like this ridiculous win streak. But I don't know if NIP has that gear to get past the utility without, there being 15 seconds left in a round. So I think whatever map Astralis picks, they're going to win quite easily. And because of that, I have a very difficult time even single world where NIP upsets Astralis. Like, I don't. Now, in the past, they've picked Train. I mean, this Astralis literally 16-0'd Cloud9 on Train. I think Astralis' Train is a lot better than we think it is right now. I don't know how good it is, but I know it's way better than whatever I thought it was coming into this major. I can tell you that right now. So you'll likely see NIP pick Mirage. I mean, Astralis has looked weak on Mirage, if I'm being honest. Their T side looked super lackluster against Renegades. I'm sure they'll come into a different game plan because what else would NIP do, right? They know that this ban is going to happen like this. And yeah, that leaves us to a third map, probably something like Overpass. In the past it was Inferno, but I highly doubt this version of NIP would want Inferno over Overpass. We've seen them play quite well on Overpass. Astralis actually is way weaker on Overpass recently, so I could definitely see them going for that. I have to speed this up because I have to be in the lobby really soon for rehearsals. So I'm going to have Astralis go through this next series. Astralis versus MIBR. MIR banning Nuke. Astralis banning Cash is what I have. Obviously, MIBR is probably going to pick like Mirage or Train. Again, I think Astralis' Train is a lot better than we think, but MIBR could test it, right? Who knows? I think it'd be probably better to pick Mirage. So like everyone on this side of the bracket is probably going to try to pick Mirage against Astralis, and I don't know how that's going to work out for them, right? So Astralis probably going to pick T2 or Inferno because Nuke's off the table. So I can't see a world where MIBR beats them on Dust 2 or Inferno. Like, I really can't. MIBR's looked really flat on their T-side Inferno. Cold Zero has bailed them out time and time again. They would have to have phenomenal starts to the halves. I mean, like winning both pistols or winning one pistol and a force by a second round or something like that. Or they rattle off like 3 more rounds. Third map. See, this is where it gets dicey with these two teams because the third map is going to be like Overpass, Train, or Mirage, potentially, depending on how like the picks go, obviously. Like, I don't know which one MIBR is going to pick. And I would give MIBR a shot on the third map. Like, this series is actually quite close, but I just don't think in the long run Astralis like I'd still favor them on the third map. So do I think MIBR stands a chance? Yes, 100% I do, right? Liquid versus Navi. This is a series we've seen already, but again, like ENCE, I think this time around we see a different veto, and the reason being is because, yeah, Liquid has shown they're going to ban Train, right? So that means they're going to leave Nuke in the pool. Now, if I were Navi here, I test Liquid's Nuke just like how ENCE did. You'll probably have footage from ENCE, assuming ENCE does the smart thing. And then, I mean, where does Liquid go from there? Do they pick Dust 2 again? I mean, that's kind of sketch, honestly. I don't like picking the same map against teams, especially after they see you play it. So I would say Liquid should pick like Inferno and just try to bog Navi down with utility, a lot like how Astralis plays. Liquid and Astralis are way, way above everyone else when it comes to Inferno, in my opinion. So, I mean, Navi's probably quite close, honestly, but they play a very different ball game when you watch them play Inferno. They're like grimy and they stack bomb sites. So this series I could easily see going 3 maps this time around. I could definitely see Navi taking this series. Like, I think Liquid has very similar teams along each step if they make it to the finals, and they each get harder and harder. So, anyway, I'm gonna take Liquid to take this series. It's gonna be close. I think Simple comes up big. But we all know the inner turmoil that Navi has right now, and I think when you play against a team like Liquid, you start losing those gunfights and things aren't going your way. That's when the team really starts to doubt themselves. I don't know, man. I don't see, you know, a downtrodden Navi like with all these problems somehow beating this version of Liquid. This version of Liquid is very, very good, and we haven't even seen a lot from them yet. I don't think Overpass is one of the best maps in their pool, and we've seen them play this map time and time again throughout the Legend stage. So who knows what we're going to see in this Champion stage. They have, I think they also have one of the highest percentage use of AUG at the event, and their CT side is going to be locked down as hell in this Champion stage. So that brings us to our final, the moment we've all expected. I don't know what Liquid's going to do here, if they're going to ban Nuke. I really hope they end up banning. I really hope they ban Nuke and play Train. I could see them, putting up a really, really good fight on Train. I think Chalice obviously going to ban Cash. Liquid probably going to pick D2/Mirage. Chalice have a lot of options here. They could probably pick, D2 as well or Train. Could even pick Inferno. And the third map we're likely going to have like D2 Inferno. But hold up, it's getting a little bit hot in here, guys, because NA winning the motherfucking major. Let's go, Team Liquid. I gotta go to rehearsals. Liquid was kind enough to send me this jersey, so anyway, I really do think Liquid has a shot at winning this major against Chalice. I know I'm picking with my heart here instead of my head. We've seen them be able to take Chalice out on Dust 2, right? And I think that's a big piece when you try to beat a Chalice in a best of 3. Can you beat a Chalice on Dust 2 and Inferno if you're going to ban Nuke? I've seen Liquid beat a Chalice on Dust 2 and Inferno. So I think they're better on them on Overpass at this point. So there's 3 maps right there off the top of my head that I think Liquid can take on a Chalice, as well as Mirage, actually. So 4. So there's 4 maps that I think Liquid has, at least a 50-50 chance when I put him up against Chalice. So Chalice coming into this, a lot of players coming out of the flu. This is the one time for Liquid to do it. So second major, back-to-back years. The first one of the year. I think NA is going to pick this one up. I really want to see Liquid win this. They deserve to, have a big event like this with all of the top results they've had. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. By the way, thanks for HyperX for giving me this headset, so you guys have like a decent mic to listen to me right now. And I look forward to seeing what you guys think. Peace out, guys.